know. That's the cow catcher. That's steak or chicken, isn't that one?
We need to have our
Can't wait to
pictures
talk
on
about that.
the front of that.
Start your stopwatch clock, and let's get ready to look at the clocks, guys.
No, as soon as I get the countdown, I'll
This
start.
is show number 78. I thought it was 77. Okay.
78.
Rock and roll. Got good sound tonight. Gentlemen, this is going to be the most fun show we've ever done because for some reason this one seems easy.
Okay.
Maybe that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Daniel Coombs out there, give us a really loud countdown. Mitchell Befoden's running camera. Thank you, guys. Let's do this.
It's loud enough. In 3, 2, 1.
Guys, this is show number 78, the best hobby in the world, the What's Neat This Week podcast, and we got a lot of colorful models on the table tonight, and once again, we've got a lot of great people from all over the country with us. This is going to be an easy one, I think, tonight, so let's just do this, show number 78, the What's Neat This Week podcast.
Starts now.
Show.
Want to do that again?
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. And by MicroMark, the small tool specialists. Visit their website and use product code WNTW at www.micromark.com/WNTW. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week show / podcast number 78 for June 8th, 2019. And guys, this is the best hobby in the world. And tonight we're going to exactly explain why. Because there's so much good things going on. Tonight I've got Brien Wood with us this evening. You drove a long way, Brien, to come here. And you've got some really neat stuff to show off to us tonight. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for the opportunity.
I've got Joshua Sugarfire.
What
God, I've been a busy boy. Barton.
Yes, I have been.
We've got the Hockey Blues. St. Louis Blues are doing relatively well so far. And we've also got the St. Louis Cardinals. And that's 90,000 more people that are populating the city of St. Louis during those events at the same time. And Joshua, they all came to eat at your place.
Every single one of them. Some of them twice.
Sure seems like it.
How come you didn't bring any tonight?
Because I was almost sold out when I left.
Yeah, there wasn't any left.
Tell us, how many tons of meat have you gone through?
Well, let's just say tomorrow is game 6, and I'm cooking 3.5 tons of meat for tomorrow to compensate the stadium and to compensate the restaurant.
That's amazing.
Unreal.
Yeah. I've also got Mike Buddy with us this evening, Mr. Cars, Mr. Automobiles. Mike, a lot of people really appreciate your segments. They're educational, and I can't believe you can keep cranking out this many models every week.
I'm not. A lot of these are reruns or stuff that I built years ago. And then these 3 in the back right here, these are actually work of Dave Davis, who couldn't be here tonight. But since Brien was bringing his flat car loads, I decided to bring these from Dave. So
that's
right.
So we
can talk about them both.
We're going to be talking about a lot of neat flat car loads tonight, which is really exciting because it's one of my more favorite type of trains to model.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we did the fractionating towers that you remember Dave Davis convinced me to build. And those were very long, over 2.5 feet long, and they ran on the layout down here quite well. So it's really exciting to experiment with experimental loads where you're using idler cars and a designated train crew for a certain train.
Right.
So without further ado, I'm going to let Brien Wood talk about his models. He owns a company called Railfan Models. Is that right?
Yes.
And what you've got here on the table are 3 amazing flat car kits that you sell. Tell us about this, Brien.
So the 2 cars in front are Casgro 12-axle flat cars. They are 325-ton capacity, so that's quite,
Heavy duty.
Heavy duty for certain. They're unique in that they're using 125-ton trucks that are the modern freight standard heavy duty.
38-inch wheels.
38-inch wheels. So they patented a design where the center truck it doesn't pivot, it actually slides laterally side to side. And so they're doing that just to ease of maintenance. It's all modern parts. Older cars had 2 3-axle trucks for 12 axles, and it's just harder to maintain. It doesn't meet the current standards, anything like that. So that's what Casgro is going with. And when I was looking at something to start, my passion is passenger cars, and we'll get into that in a minute.
Oh,
I
okay.
filmed you last year at the St.
Nice.
Louis RPM
Yes.
Yeah.
meet,
Yes.
whereas one of your passenger train, your Union Pacific Excursion train, complete with power cars. That's another kit that you have in development. But we showed that on the What's Neat show as a segue clip
Yeah.
because it was so impressive.
Right.
Right.
So rock and roll on that.
And so for a variety of reasons, I ended up doing the freight car first and looking at the Casgro. I have a passion for some of their cars. And the 12-axle seemed to be a great, what we call it, a compromise, right? It's a very large car. Most layouts and most people that see it, as you can see compared to these other cars, it's a very large, very long car. I think it's 115 scale feet or prototype feet long. So it's longer than your auto racks or anything else.
Right.
But yet it's small enough to fit on almost anyone's layout. It's designed to go around 20-inch curves. It will. It looks kind of funny doing it, but it will do it without derailing. They are the kits are designed to go together. Simply. It does take a little bit of time. There are in total like 106 individual parts to make up the car. There's a lot of detail on it. We could be here until midnight talking about all the stuff.
Right.
So I would just say, for people interested, to go to the website, railfanmodels.com. And you could dig in on the product on there and look at all the features and pictures and everything. There's also video taken that I took with Michelle's help out at the Colorado Motor Railroad Museum.
That's right. I saw that on your website. It was very, very neat to see these cars snaking around on that huge layout out there.
It did traverse everything. It did clear the all their bridges. The large transformer had to be removed for one tunnel portal, but it went around. It's a high and wide.
Right. Right.
Type load, and sometimes there are places that you can't
Right.
necessarily take
Exactly.
it. Some lines. So
Reroute.
that's
Yeah.
realistic. So there are a limited number of fully assembled cars and transformers, but everything is available as a kit.
So I can buy this already built.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
if you're
How
one
much
of the
are?
lucky few.
Give me an example. Ballpark me price point on already built model like this, ready to go on my layout.
Well, the actual price, the real price,
Is?
is $360 for the car with the large transformer.
Okay.
$350 for the car and the smaller transformer.
Okay, and tell me how much are the kits?
The kits are going to be around $145, $150
Okay.
for the car, and then depending on the transformer, anywhere from $60 to $65 for the transformer.
Nice. Now, I ran B-roll footage of each one of these running on the layout a little while ago, about 12 seconds of each car. Tell us about each one of these and what they're called.
So they're a 36-foot center depressed car. As I mentioned earlier, 325-ton capacity.
Right.
They're used primarily to haul equipment for the power industry. All
Okay.
these larger cars, it's almost, purposely tied to the power generation, power distribution industry. There are other things that could go on, but it's such a minority of what's there.
Right.
That's why I focused on transformers. We'll be doing some gas turbines, both the Siemens and GE gas turbine down the road. So all of these loads are held on by magnets. So
Yeah.
That's
what
a
I
good
thought
idea.
was
Yeah.
really a cool idea.
So they're going to stay on the car no matter what you do as it's running on the
Right.
layout, and you can remove it easily and swap out
Swap,
the
right.
loads, or you can run it empty. And it's nothing against the smaller cars, like this gorgeous little transformer
Right.
that's on this 2-axle.
Right, I think that's a
depressed flat
Wathers
car.
model.
And that's Dave Davis's scratch-built transformer.
Oh,
But
yes.
like you said, that's got tie-downs on it, and your loads prototypically would not have tie-downs because
Right.
they're welded to the cars.
They're welded
so you
directly
can
to the
swap
car
them out
body.
and not have to worry about all that rigging.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
a
it's a
great
very
idea.
flexible car, and it's a centerpiece car for people, for their layout, or if you run a lot at train shows,
Yeah.
and you want something unique to see at
Definitely
train shows,
unique.
Definitely unique. Yeah.
So are the first two flat cars on the table the same?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
the difference in the B-roll I showed you wasn't the flat car types, but it was a transformer
It's
types on
right.
each one.
Right.
And then the shorter one I'm going to show you now, the B-roll
Yes.
of. This is a different type of flat car, and it's
Yeah.
got a round transformer load on it. Tell me what
Well,
kind of flat car that is.
It's actually a generator.
That's a generator.
That's
Ooh,
a generator. It's
okay.
actually modeled after a Siemens generator.
That is neat.
Right.
And it's a 44-foot straight deck car. It uses the same 38-inch wheel, 125-ton truck, and 12 axle car.
What's the price on that freight car that we just saw?
So those kits will be about $140.
$140.
And the generator kit will be $55.
That's pretty cool,
Yeah,
man.
So,
very cool.
It's a very unique car. So if you think that the larger car is a little too much for your layout, you get the smaller car. They are high and wide load. So there's it can add some operational interest to your layout.
Right.
Maybe you may not be able to pass someone on a curve if you have a siding on a curve or a double main line. Those things that's real railroads have to deal with that all the time.
Prototypical.
Yeah.
No, that's great. You had a couple idler cars, you got a specific set of switchers,
Yep.
and a caboose on the rear with a full crew watching this one full time. Tell us what website we need to go to, Brian, to order these cool cars if we wanted them.
So that's railfanmodels.com. And on there you'll see the cars that are ready right now are the press center flat cars. The 44-foot straight car is it'll be released as a kit here hopefully in about 6 weeks. Try to have that ready for the RPM meet here
Right.
in St. Louis, which I'll be attending.
Good.
That
RPM,
we'll have
nice.
models of these cars. Also, in addition to this flat car, we'll have the UP Lynn Nystrom. It's not a car produced by anybody. It was last done by Overland Brass, but it was a Pony Express. But it'll have a lot of user-friendly features that are not done by anybody else. And hopefully we'll get back to your show at the RPM meet, and you'll be pleasantly surprised by the level of detail that's gone into
Nice.
these cars.
Last year's RPM meet, we had 50 people down here. We had quite a show of people behind the microphones, and I expect it to be no different this year.
Oh yeah, I'm
It's gonna
looking
be it
forward
might
to
be
it.
an
It'll
hour-long.
be
Yeah.
fun.
Hour-long show. So we got a lot of new news tonight, and I want to get started right away because we've got a really special announcement. And this is going to be the first time. It's not even on the Union Pacific website yet, guys. There is a new locomotive that Union Pacific is producing in honor of its employees. Athearn is producing this model. It's locomotive number 1111, and this is an SD70 Ace, and Athearn is coming out with this locomotive. The title of the locomotive is Powered by Our People. So it's Union Pacific's way to say thank you very much to all the employees that work so hard to make that railroad as great as it is. And this is just a beautiful model. The mosaics that are painted on the side of this of the employees doing their work, it's so colorful. The racing stripe that runs across the long hood and the top of this locomotive. It is one of the most beautiful locomotives, I think, that any railroad has painted in a long time.
Very,
and
very
Athearn is coming
detailed.
out with this. This
Yeah.
is gorgeous. So thank you, Chris Palomares, for the lead on that. I think they made a video at athearn.com. You can see James Wright and Chris talking about this model. We're going to have a pre-production model, I think, in about 4 weeks, so we'll be able to actually have one on the table. This is a very complicated paint job. Hats off to Athearn for working with Union Pacific on this project. This is going to be a real beauty. She's going to come out right around Christmas. Right around the end of the year is what I've told for delivery dates on this. And the pre-orders on this one are firm. The numbers are set as to production, so if you want this one, you got to pre-order it. Go ahead and get it at your favorite hobby shop or order it online at athearntrains.com.
I'll just take your skin.
I don't have one. I don't
yet.
have one. I wish I had one. Something else really cool that we've got on the table tonight. Intermountain. Intermountain has got some factories set up now that are producing their models. They're very, very happy with the quality of what they're receiving right now. We've got a Sinclair hopper on the table here, and this is the Intermountain 3-bay hopper. This is absolutely beautiful. I didn't write down the designation on how many square footage that
4560, I think.
Thank you, Mike, for saving me on that. I should have wrote that. I
Or
thought I wrote that down.
4650. I don't know.
It's beautiful. I photographed it outside the other day just because the orange and the white I thought would look so good with the blue sky.
The
very
detail.
fine
Yeah,
detail.
so much
Yes.
detail.
I mean,
Yeah,
check it
all
out,
the
guys.
Air rigging and everything at the end there is pretty amazing.
So, Ken, way to go. Hats off to Intermountain, all the great employees that work out there, Ron and Frank, and all the wonderful folks out there. It sounds like you've got it going on. We look forward to seeing all the new models that you're coming out with at the Anna Murray National in Salt Lake City. That's going to be great. So, Joshua, I see you got some notes here. What do you got going on?
No, I just brought some pictures from work.
Yes.
You had asked me the other day to show a picture of the line down the street and around the corner, and I wanted to make good with that. So there's the picture.
Oh, there are. They were lined up around.
Around the corner, down the street.
They're all dressed in blue.
Yeah.
Blues and red. So it's
That's
Cardinals
right.
and
Yeah.
St. Louis Blues
And
hockey.
We got our new stickers up.
Barbecue
all-
Pitmasters.
Well, these are all the shows that Sugar Fire has been on. Barbecue Pitmasters,
Wow.
Burgers, Brews, and Q's, and then Beat Bobby Flay twice.
And look at that. I see a picture
Yeah,
of
I had some-
Connor and Tyler.
So we were real busy last weekend with the Cubs in town, and I had two boys and their mom and dad come up to me and said they love the show, they watch it all the time, and they dragged their parents in to come eat.
Man.
And so I got to give them some good food and took a
And?
picture, and then I actually gave them each one of our Sugar Fire Boxcars.
Good boy.
Nice.
That is so
Yeah.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Great guys. I'm so glad you guys came.
Yeah.
You guys need to come back to St. Louis more often. You're
Yeah,
always
they
welcome
came down
here.
for the podcast to watch last week.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
here last week.
So
So,
I'm sorry I didn't get to talk
Joshua,
to
you
them
weren't
more.
on the show last week. We
I
missed
was
you,
not.
but I was told that we dropped your name 7 times.
7 times.
Somebody's been
Okay.
keeping count. And we did talk about the fact that you gave them these beautiful valuetrains.com boxcars.
That's
And
right.
that's Value USA Trains. Is that right? Value Trains USA. Get it right.
Yep.
Because I want to talk about that tonight. We've got the What's Neat This Week boxcars on the table, and we've actually got the one that's being produced by Value Trains. I know. Daniel Coombs
Yeah, he's
bought
going
one
to get in
for
here and
us
talk
tonight.
about this. Let me talk about these cars of Dave Davis's first, and then we can swap out with Daniel. These since Brien was coming in town, Ken called and told me to bring these cars of Dave Davis's. He was really into building these flat cars for a while. He scratch built this transformer load, and then this I'm not sure what kind of load that is, but it has all the tie downs and everything on it. That's a bridge girder that he scratch built from some photographs, I guess. And the idler car is of particular interest. Next to it, it has all separate boards and all the chains, tie-down chains and everything. And
That's cool.
So Dave couldn't come tonight, so he's represented on the show that way. And then this other one with the trucks on, that's one of my models that I've got a lot of flat car loads of vehicles and different shipments to different areas from St. Louis mainly. So. All right, well, I'll swap
I
out
love
with
it when you
Daniel
bring these
now.
cars, Mike. That truckload on a flat car, I mean, that's just the way they transport them with the motor is crated. I can
Right.
see
Yeah.
plywood.
And then the cutaway van has a cardboard on the back with the GM logo.
I
Maybe
see
you can
that.
you
Look
can
at
see that.
that.
Maybe you can. I'll leave those here so you can shoot some B-roll of them.
Okay, rock and roll. So you're going to switch
So-
out and get Daniel over here.
Yes.
Do not trip
Yeah.
over anything.
Will not.
Thank you.
All right.
Daniel, get on in here, brother. Somewhere in there I did an edit. We got Daniel Coombs here tonight. We love you, Daniel. We haven't seen you in a couple weeks because you've been so busy working up at the hardware store and everything else. But you brought a really cool boxcar with you this evening. This is the new Value Trains USA.com. I know. I think it's 50-foot, 7-inch long boxcar. And this is painted up in the new What's Neat This Week paint scheme that has been offered available for sale. And we've sold quite a lot of those from last week to this week. Thank you very much to everybody that purchased one of those. Daniel, what do you think about this, brother?
I mean, it's phenomenal. You know what? And for the price that I get it at, $32.99, it's well worth it.
Yeah.
Custom made. So in the package, which it took maybe about 3 days, priority mail, and that was like $4, I think. But it still got there relatively quick because, Derek's not too far from St. Louis. He's like what, Josh, 2 hours west of St. Louis?
3 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, so it wasn't
Very
that bad.
close.
So, of course, he puts his company sticker on the package. So when I open it up, I got this neat brochure, which I'll hang up in the train room, and then a little business card, and then, of course, the What's Neat This Week Boxcar. I mean, it runs well. I've haven't really run the layout yet because I've been so busy with work and school and that. But I tell you what, this is a really neat car. I'm wondering though, are we gonna have like different colors, like black, gray?
I was going to bring that up to all of our viewers here. You guys should send us some stuff in via the Facebook or via some of our other methods down below of YouTube. What colors do you guys want to see? You know, we should do
good
a few
idea.
different
Yeah.
colors. See what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting idea, but yes, he's working on another color because he thinks somebody's already requested that online. But rock and roll, I love it. Check it out. It's the What's Neat This Week Boxcar. You can get it online one more time at valuetrainsusa.com. They're right there on the website. Just click on it. We don't have to ship anything. They're taking care of all of it for us. We really appreciate that.
Hey, let's put the link like right
I already did.
down there. Okay, yeah, you already did.
It was
All
already
right,
there.
perfect.
I know, rock and roll. So what else do we have on the list? I've got micromark.com. Why do I have that written down? Because we are working with MicroMark on a partnership program, whereas they are going to help support the What's Neat This Week podcast, which is our way to simply promote the best hobby in the world to all of us. And tonight on the table, I've got one of the products that I'd like to talk about that you can order from their website, and this is the Microlux Small Table Saw. This is a precision saw that I use a lot for cutting buildings, plexiglass. Every type of medium that we use in model building can be cut through this saw. It's variable speed. I put a carbide blade on it so that it cuts and it's cool as it runs. I run it at low speed, and I'll tell you what, it just eats right through plexiglass. When you cut a design preservation building on this saw, you can cut off a row of bricks at a time. It's that precise. You got to check it out. You can order these saws online at MicroMark. I got the website right here, www.micromark.com. And I see Joshua's got the catalog held up here. But enter the promo code, WNTW. So as it is on the bottom of the screen, right, you can see the way it is. And it was great to interview Chas Fox last week. He was just an absolutely fantastic individual, very knowledgeable about the hobby, and has a great team of people that they work with. Once again, www.micromark.com/WNTW, and every portion of your purchase, there will be a small portion that goes to us, to the show, for travel budget and what have you. We really appreciate it. I just did an interview with James Regier. You remember James? He's been on the show a few times now. Everybody still can't stop talking about that DC-3 with the propellers.
Oh, that's a gorgeous model. I'll tell you
Sure
what.
is.
Rock and roll. Well, he invited me to the Magic House on Thursday, and I interviewed him in the layout room, the layout that he takes care of and makes sure it runs every single day of the week. And it was very impressive. It's a really good interview, and I'm going to run that in the August What's Neat coming up. And I've got the agenda for the next couple of What's Neat shows. June is already out, and in it you can watch Rand Hood and Austin Allard talk about all the various buildings that Rand has got on his layout that he's now building. He built the buildings first, and now he's going to build the layout, if that makes any sense. In Modeling Ideas from Above, Drayton Blackgrove sent us some great video footage of farmland. I think this is somewhere in Ohio, and it's just beautiful because when I look at this, I can see a shelf layout. And that's why we run this type of footage, because all the answers are right there to be seen.
Yep.
I also interviewed Clark O'Byrne and Cheryl Lavender. They are members of the New Mexico HON3 narrow gauge layout. That's a modular club that we saw at the Rocky Mountain Train Show out in Colorado. And it was really great to see this beautiful narrow gauge layout. It's something I really do enjoy. So rock and roll, that's a good segment. Campbell Rice interviews Sam Sizdek. Sam has got a beautiful HO scale layout where all of the buildings are craftsman structures throughout the entire layout. And it's an expose of the finest laser kits and wood kits on the market. And he's got them all in this layout with traffic lights that look like they really operate, but they don't. They use this paint that glows in the dark. What's it called? That
Black light.
Right, and it looks like the lights are lit. So rock and roll Sam Sizdek for that trick. And then we also have an interview with the folks from San Juan Model Company. We interview some of the principals out at the Rocky Mountain Train Show, and they tell us about all the lines of companies that they have purchased, including Grant Line and American Limited. So it's a really good interview in June's What's Neat. I just finished July's What's Neat, and this is going to be a fun edit. Here we go, guys. I start out with a how-to segment in July, because it's been requested, on how to take roots from your yard and use them and apply them to scenery that we would want on the layout. For example, where a creek curves around and roughs out the dirt, you always see tree roots hanging out of the side.
Yep.
And it's a great modeling medium already there. It's the right scale to be used. So I feature that in July's video. Michelle Kempema has a great interview at Gulliver's Gate. This is a museum in Times Square in New York. It is America's version of Wonderland, that big layout that you see in Germany. This is complete with an airport. It's got 25 cities on 5 continents. This is a 50,000 square foot layout where they've actually built the Panama Canal and the gates and everything operates. I mean, it is a it is a $41 million HO scale, 1/87 scale display. I don't want to talk too much because I know I'm rolling B-roll on this because it's a great segment that Michelle pulled off. She interviewed Bob Woodward out there, the head model maker. It's really fantastic in July. Stephen M. Conroy supplies us with a business train, and I know, Brian, you watched that video with me tonight, and you were telling me about all those cars.
Yeah, there's a few of them. UP has 49 active cars in the Heritage Fleet and between the Heritage Fleet and STEAM program. And I'm eventually going to get to all 49 of those cars.
Including that power
There's been
car.
a lot of research on those, and the power cars will come down the road.
You said that power car had 2 engines in it.
Yes, the one on that particular train, the 2066 has 2 gen sets in that car.
We love this type of footage from the air. Look at the colors of the fields. There's even purple in the farmland fields on this one. Varying shades of green. It's not just Woodland Scenics, medium green and light green, guys. There are so many shades. And that's the beauty of this drone footage, is it helps us see what we need to model. It's just really cool. And the last segment in this video for July, Daniel Coombs and George Bogatak from Soundtracks explained to us about consisting. And Daniel, you talked about the 3 different types of consisting. Do you remember what those were?
Yeah, I do. There's simple consisting, and then there's a basic, and then advanced. And now, advanced is when you really get down and dirty to all the CV values to make your models operate. Like, let's say you have 2 models back to back. I mean, like the rear lights, like those Canadian National locomotives, the way they are. You want the rear headlights off and want the front headlights to work. That's where a lot of the CV programming comes into play. So he really enlightened me, because let's say someone doesn't have JMRI, doesn't have the quick computer program, they could just sit with their power cab or Digitrax throttle or whatever command station they have and easily put the CVs in manually, be able to consist their locomotives the way they want them to be consisted. So
awesome.
That was
Thank
a
you,
neat segment.
Daniel. Man, great segue. Great pickup on that.
Thank you.
I got an email from one of our show friends. Ethan told me that his friend Raymond Brown is an absolute massive fan of the show, and his birthday was June 6th.
Oh, happy birthday.
And I needed to give him a shout out and wish you a happy birthday. I bet you didn't see that coming.
A very happy birthday.
We've got a great schedule lined up, guys. The month of June is going to be very busy for us. We're already halfway through it. This is the 8th. On the 15th, that's next week, we aren't going to do a show because I've got to have August What's Neat finished, and we're preparing to do the show out in Deshler. So what we're going to do is a show on June 22nd, and then we'll do the show on June 29th out in Deshler at the Spring Creek Show. It's already been talked about in the model press. I've got the latest issue of Cowcatcher magazine. It's got Michelle Kempema in it.
Ooh.
Is it chicken or steak? All the answers are in this issue. What's your favorite? But it's a really great issue. But what's more amazing is in the model press, I am seeing more stories out there where they are writing about us and the show that we are producing right here on Saturday
Really?
nights. Yes, there was an article about the George Celios freight car that we had sold on the internet to raise money for the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. That boxcar had sold for $1,000, and there was an article in the model press about it. Plus, I've seen a lot of advertising and discussions about the Spring Creek show coming up here at the end of the month where it's been talked about. And there's also some advertising out there that says that we're going to Train Fest this year, which is an absolute true fact. We will also shoot a show out in Milwaukee at Train Fest coming this fall when that all occurs. So there's a lot of neat things happening all at once. Not to mention that we've got the Prototype Modelers meet here in St. Louis in July. That's going to be on the what's the dates on that, guys?
26th and 27th, I think.
And I got a calendar right in front of me, and I can't even find find it.
And guess
it's
what?
the last
Oh.
page right there.
Yeah.
There it is. 26th and 27th is the
was right.
RPM show here in St. Louis in July. And, of course, the NMRA show in Salt Lake City, Utah. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The main train show that we're going to is the weekend part of it, which is the 12th, 13th, and 14th, which we got to get a bunch of interviews out there for that show. I think we're going through our list of stuff here pretty quick, guys. Anything else on y'all's list? Going
You
back
always
and
know I got
forth?
something else.
I know you do. I've been working a lot on the Garden Railroad. I promised we'd have it running tonight. It didn't happen.
Right.
I got 50 geraniums planted, 4 tomatoes plants. I finished with the dirt. The trestle is filled. It's no longer called the trestle section. Now it's called a crater because I think that's what it looks like. It looks like a big
Yeah, it
crater from an asteroid in the backyard. But the fact is, the dirt's there. All I got to do is plant grass seed and get some hay down, some straw, and it should look dynamite for the RPM meet. Grass should all be grown by then, and that's the last thing on my list.
And one more thing, this is going to be my first ever RPM meet I'm going to go to.
yes.
Ooh.
And I don't know how many tables are set up there, like over 200 I heard last time. And I hear,
there's quite a few.
all right, well, all I know is I'll help do the interviews and we'll see what happens. But hopefully we'll see some exciting stuff and get to socialize with fellow modelers. So
I want to tell everyone to go to our website, whatsneedthisweek.com.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can get to our Teespring account real easy there, which is the click of the button.
Look, there's a link right there.
Yep, and MicroMark. And what else is on there?
There's links to all of the websites on there so that you can immediately go to, for example, I think the website where you sell shirts and things like that.
Teespring.
Teespring. It's so
Yeah.
hard to get to that, but now you go to whatsneedthisweek.com. You can go straight to that. The links are there. We've got photographs of all the podcast crew that we're going to start uploading and telling stories about all of them. It's just kind of a fun website to develop, but more or less it's going to be a spot where you can go, where you can get to everything else, to the YouTube site, to all the different sponsors that we may have.
Cool.
Which I do want to talk about the N-scale layout that I built in the garage last week. I alluded to that a little bit. I figured out the depth of field issues with the video cameras on this. We are going to start producing some really cool run-bys now for Athearn, which is something I've never done in N-scale before. But rock and roll, the beauty of it was I used the NCE Power Cab. That's the $200 system, $199, where I could just hook that up in the garage to the layout, haul it out into the sunlight, use a blue sky, not the real sky, for backdrop, and it worked out really, really well. I could see the screen on the ergonomically designed
Yeah, the
cab.
LCD.
I can see it just fine in the sunlight, which surprised me because I can't even see my cell phone in the sunlight. So rock and roll to NCE for making such a great system. We love it. We use it down here every day on the layout. And if you're going to check it out for a DCC system for your layout that's simple to use, upgradable, you got to go with NCE because we're all sold on it and I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which, I think one of our podcast viewers, a gentleman named Joe DeLuso, he sent us something on the What's Neat Facebook page. I don't know. Did you get that? Because he said that he bought the power cab with a few extra power cab accessories to it. And he's like, hey, guys, I got a power cab, so now he's going to start running his trains.
Great.
I love it when they say that.
Yeah.
So many people told us they bought the Boxcars this week and they love them. I can't believe you got yours so fast. They just came out Tuesday and you've already got it. That's amazing.
I know.
This is the best hobby in the world.
It
Sure is.
And this is such a fun show to produce. This is your show. We produce it for you. If you want to be on the show or you would like to have your layout or something featured on the show, go to our What's Neat This Week Facebook page, like Joshua said, and let's make contact. This is the best hobby in the world. We've met some of the best people we've ever met. I got to thank you, Brien, for driving all the way down here and being with us. Give us your website one more time, and we are going to close this show out, brother.
Railfanmodels.com.
Thank you for
See,
coming.
there it is. It popped up right there.
Guys, best hobby in the world. Let's go run
Indeed.
some trains.
Let's do it.